Oh my
goodness.
I took a picture.
Oh, because I didn't say go live on Instagram. I said nothing. Oh, let me do this.
What is that? Oh, do we have your neighbor's hood Facebook up?
Yes. Okay. Your neighbor's hood is right there. I'm right there. You're right there. You're right there. And we are all the way live right here.
I wish I could put a filter on. When you're sick, you blow your nose and you get the crusties under your nose.
Sorry, Instagram. I love you still.
Hi, guys. If you're just joining us, I apologize. Hey, Carol. I apologize for my voice in advance. Jackie says you can still understand. That's all that matters.
Yes, that you can still understand what Christina is saying.
Yeah. Well, that's all that matters. So your neighbor's hood, and we are here on our Thursday Night Live, our show. Oh, Christy, what? I said, when you blow your nose and your nose gets crusty underneath, like your skin gets dry. That's what I was talking about, Carol. When you're just, anyway, I'm trying to stay away from you. I don't want to get you sick.
Oh, look at this. This is weird. Candace, you should have told me. I'm going to actually stop this and restart it, okay? Because it's sideways.
Oh.
It's not live the way we want to be live. We're actually sideways.
Having technical difficulties, guys. Just give us a second.
Yeah, and then we'll go into cancel.
Anyone else sick with the flu? I'd like to know. Do you get sick?
Do I get sick?
Yeah.
I get sick sometimes.
I feel like you're superhuman.
No, there's nothing superhuman about me. And that gives people time to come in and say, hello, welcome to the hood.
Oh, what's an aquifer?
Oh, I don't know.
What is that, Carol?
I thought that was a lotion.
Aquifer. There's a little aquifer. Yeah, hey, if you guys want to give me tips on helping my throat, you said lemon and honey.
Yes, you boil lemon and honey together.
And you take it.
Take it straight up. Okay. I made you some, but it's sitting on the counter.
Okay, we'll take it out.
We're almost there. We don't want to be too long.
Nope. Tonight's isn't going to be as long because I don't think I'll last. You can get it at the pharmacy. Okay, Carol. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll take any tips that people have.
Go live. I don't know why it's been silly. Anyway. All right.
If you're just joining us, thank you. Hi, Liz. Hi, Kristen. I appreciate you guys watching. You're here. Hopefully you can understand what I'm saying. Jackie says you can understand me, so I'm just going to go with it. But you just joined the Your Neighbor's Hood podcast. Did I tell you how cute my grandma is? She thinks this is the podcast. Yeah. So she tells me my grandma is the cutest. So Bubba, if you're watching or you watch later, I love you. But this is not the podcast. So she goes every week. She watches my lives and she says, Christina, I watched your podcast. But she doesn't understand that you can't watch podcasts.
Oh my goodness.
It's okay. She really cares and she loves me.
That's what matters.
That's what matters. It's really the cutest. My grandma's 77. So.
All right. So I think I'm ready. I think I got it. I think we got it.
Okay.
The pooty class. Yeah.
What did you call podcast? The pooty class. All right, guys. Well, thank you. We are officially starting. I'm Christina.
And I'm Jackie. And we are Your Neighbor's Hood. Yeah. Podcast for uncomfortable culture conversations.
Specifically about
race. So we talk about other things.
But we do. But thank you so much for coming every Thursday. We've been doing this, I think, for about a month now.
For about a month.
Yep.
And it's been a lot of fun.
It is fun because I love podcasting, but you do not get live reactions from podcasting.
No.
So it is very fun to do this live and get your feedback and questions.
Yeah, feedback and questions like on the spot.
Yes.
So this week
we talked about the comment section, which is always a hot mess. Hi, Erica. Thanks for joining.
The comment section likes to explode.
So I put a poll on my Facebook page or on my personal one. Have you ever taken part in a race conversation online?
Yeah, in the comment
form?
section. Yeah.
So for anyone that didn't listen, why don't you tell them we had someone write in and tell them what they said.
So we had someone write in that was on a sneakerhead site. And if you don't know what a sneakerhead site, it's a site where people that really love sneakers or tennis shoes or gym shoes, whatever you like to call them, go and they're able to see what's new, what kind of new sneakers are out and what's selling for what, and just talk about shoes. Mostly men. It's like a dude sneaker shop. Okay, so we had a listener write in and say that they were on the site and they found that the conversation around a particular shoe turned into a race conversation. And it was like, why does this happen when I'm coming here for this shoe culture? And then it turns into
shoes just bring us together. Like, why?
Shouldn't shoes just bring us together? Yes. So having said that, we just kind of addressed how the comment section can be a hotbed for like all kinds of,
like
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
and so we wanted to know, have you guys experienced racism or race and talked about it in the comment section?
And so the thing I'm curious about is when people indulge in the conversation about different cultures, whether it's religion or whatever it is, in the comment section, does it even make you feel any better?
Yeah. Or is there even a point to it?
Yeah. Is there a point?
I think I will say I talk about this in the episode, I'm very intentional and I don't usually engage.
You don't engage, yeah. Hey, cousin, I see you, Jana. Yeah, no, I mean, for this episode specifically did it on your page.
Yes.
Just because I was like, you know what? I don't typically do it either. I was like, but for this episode, I just wanted to try it out and see what it's like to have these conversations. And I will say most of the conversations were with European American males.
Yep.
And on specifically about
the content. Yeah.
The comments section, the comment that we were actually getting to was about our last week's episode of reparations. And so there was a lot of conversation back and forth over your feed about whether the logistical side of reparations and
what would it look like?
And I was like, wow, that's really, when people start actually trying to get down to numbers, that's really interesting because we really don't know.
Those comments were great. Like in the sense of nobody got nasty to each other. It was very intelligent.
Yeah.
And I didn't join in on that one because I don't see my role as a moderator unless things get out of hand. I more so like to put the content out and let people like discuss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Healthy debate. And I love that.
And I think people are learning from the content from the comment section. So just as
100%. I know I do. I've gotten into a conversation about someone calling all Hispanics Mexican. Oh, that's interesting.
Okay. Because
see, and this goes to Kristen. Thank you for putting this out because that's a learning point. You know what I mean? That can be a learning point for people. So it's like, I think it just depends the intent and how you do it. Like if you call someone out and you're mean about it, that's different than like, hey, that was like an ignorant comment. Yeah. Here's where you're wrong.
So I like to ask people too, have you felt compelled and maybe not done it to comment on some things culturally? So here's the damage. Here's the thing about doing that is that the comment section doesn't necessarily like go away.
No.
Do you know what I mean? If you're on a website and you decide to comment, whatever that looks like, it doesn't go away. I found this most often when I read news articles. I make it a point to not read the comment section, really depending on what the article is about people get into these. And somehow, just like the person who wrote into us, even if the article has nothing to do with race or culture or anything, it can turn into.
I think too, like, okay, what did you say? It's an interesting conversation because I'm Puerto Rican. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because people make ignorant comments, I think, and I'm not bringing politics into it, but I think I've definitely noticed a shift in race conversations in the light of Trump, in the age of Trump.
Yeah.
Just on basic, things like immigration and small things like that. I think we live in a more polarized time. And so the comment section can be a place where people cause more divide and more pain.
More pain than pulling it together. Yeah. I don't want to be fighting because I don't know that there's any winning. But here's the one thing that I think I took away from being a part of the comment section is that when we're having these cultural conversations, I think I've made a committed decision to not have conversations about race, religion, socioeconomic, anything that deal with statistics.
Yeah, that's interesting. Share that.
Because what I've learned, and I actually wrote this down, is that I find that when we're talking about people in the different cultures, you have a faction of people who will find statistics. And here's what we know is that statistics, you can find statistics to support anything.
And shouldn't we be careful where we're coming from?
It is. Yeah, the sources. So look, so to prove a point, I was like, it's so true. I can find a study that will support anything I want. Anything, like drinking large quantities of beer is good for you. I can find a study on that. That eating an egg is worse than smoking a cigarette. There's a study that supports that.
What should you do though? Because we do need to use studies.
So here's what I do. I will deal in fact in policy, in Supreme Court cases, in
experiences or
no, I mean, because I think not in that sense, not in when you're having a conversation. I feel like in the comment section, when you indulge and you're having a conversation with someone who wants their opinion to be the fact, I don't think that you can talk in lived experience because then they can dismiss that and say, well, that's just you. But typically, all of this group of people is this way. And may just be you, or even say, challenge your lived experience. But you can't challenge Brown versus the Board of Education. You can't challenge Supreme Court decisions. You can't challenge, like, these are facts that support a lot of the cultural differences that we had. I can't think of the one. It was Mr. Kamashu versus goodness, I can't think of it, but it was about the transcontinental railroad, how they did the Chinese people. But you can't combat these things that were actually set up to. I'm talking about Chinese folks in the Chinese people in the U.S. How they were put into concentration camps, how they were kept out of. Like, you can say, well, statistically, Chinese people are well off because of this, this, and this. No, but we can't just ignore the fact that this was done in American history to them just because of where they are. And studies show us now that this, and this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like, I've now chosen just off that little experience that I was like, I'm not doing statistics anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what was laid out. What do we know to be fact? We can pull.
It also goes to like where you get your resources from. That's the thing, like where you're citing your sources, because then that goes to a deeper conversation of fake news, right?
Yeah.
It depends on who you listen to and where you're coming from. Right?
Absolutely.
Because what you're saying though, but that's dangerous too, because if you're saying that can't do statistics, it's hard because you have to
learn history.
Yeah.
That's what makes it hard, is because the fact of the matter is even I too have history to learn. So when I'm looking and I'm having I'm having a conversation with someone, and I'm trying to not just assert my personal feelings into it, and then finding things to validate my personal feelings, I have to go to these facts.
Well, I think that's where people go back and forth, is because you can find something to back up whatever you believe one way or another.
Exactly. And then the thing about like statistics, like you said, are left to whomever. But Susan says, and hi, Susan, I want to say I met Susan online in a forum for our city schools, right? And I'm definitely going to have an Erase the Hate Date play date with you at some point. So she says these are some indication that there are some indications that some Russian influences and bots use comments sections on articles to influence voters and spread disinformation. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So what she's getting at is that the comment section can also be weaponized to fuel this sort of negative talk.
I think that's what happens, and it's causing more discord in the comment section.
Yeah, the comment section, because people can fight, far.
And I think people want to, though. They come into those spaces ready to fight.
And what I was told when I went to therapy with my husband is that the reason people argue is because they want to communicate with each other. I just don't know that I don't know that necessarily when we're talking about culture and race that the comment section is the best place to make that happen.
No, because you need to experience each other cross-culturally.
But I think it depends on what it is. Because we did a poll. I did a poll on my personal page, on my personal Facebook page, on my regular page, and we did one on our page, and you did one on yours. And there were people who said that from the comment section that they've actually learned something.
Yeah.
So I really just depends on the space and place that you're in.
It depends on how you do it.
Oh, heck yeah.
Because there's people that are nasty. And there's people that comment trying to correct speech.
Yeah. So I want to ask, has anybody ever said something in the comment section that you've regretted?
Yeah.
Did you want to go back and go delete, take that back? Have you ever done it? I'm not going to ask you what it is, but have you ever had that happen? I don't know that I have. Mm-hmm.
I think it's just mentally taxing.
It is. And you can be commenting all day.
Yeah, you would. Exactly.
All day. You're like, what? It's 9 o'clock. I'm still commenting.
Right.
Yeah. So should we make, this is Susan saying, should we make sure to be there to combat disinformation?
I think that's the
responsibility. I'd agree. However,
I mean, if you see it, you can, sure.
You can, but then you become a part of the whole conversation. Yeah. So I would put it on the moderator, and that's why you see a lot of people have these ground rules for getting people out of there that are not doing good things. But I would definitely say it's left up to that's hosting it.
Not that they're perfect, but that would be my.
But we will put a resource out there about. I want to read this comment first. But there is a resource that we learned about for jacked up comment sections if you find yourself in that space or place. Correct. Go ahead, Kristen says.
Most people think I'm just Caucasian because I'm pale. I explained that not all Hispanics are one race. We can be Puerto Rican, Mexican, and there are many different Hispanic races. You can be Hispanic from Spain, or Guatemala, Dominican Republic, and all of the dialects. If you're not interrupting our live, we want you to comment. Okay.
No.
Unfortunately, a lot of people are racist or have racist tendencies. To me, this is a serious issue with all races, not just Hispanic, because people will get divisive, and that's how arguments start. Basically, what I'm saying is don't judge a book by its cover and love what's on the inside. No, thank you. You're not interrupting us. We want comments.
But we definitely got to get to a point where we can see the inside, and that's what the whole idea of having relationships and conversations.
So this is healthy, and I'll admit my ignorance because it never embarrasses me. I didn't know that. I didn't know what she just said.
Really?
Mm-mm.
That was all? Oh, no, really?
No, I didn't. I mean, I never thought about it.
About the different types of Hispanic?
I actually never really thought about what it meant to be Hispanic. You know what I mean? It was just ignorance. So, but that's an example of a comment that's very healthy, that's very nice, and I learned.
Wow. I'm glad for you learning something new today.
You know me, I'm never embarrassed to say I don't know something. I think that's what happens when it comes to race. What white people do all the time is pretend like we know, which is stupid because it gets us in trouble. And we're embarrassed. I'm not embarrassed. I grew up in a predominantly white town. I never had any Hispanics around me. Why would I know? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I always want to learn more. And that's why in this instance, so thank you for leaving that comment.
Yeah.
So comments can be very informative.
Yeah.
And that was she did a great job of explaining it.
I love it.
So I love, you didn't interrupt. We love getting your comments.
Absolutely. It is important that we get your comment.
Yeah.
Yes, and then I so understand, not understand, but I can empathize with wanting people to recognize that your culture is your own and it's not all lumped into one. Recently, we were on an activist page, and this is kind of comparable, or I was on an activist page, and a young lady said to the activist, "Hey, you keep saying Africa like it's one whole country," and she's like, it's not. There are smaller countries in it, and each of us are different, and they're all different with different dialects.
Because you never look at Europe as all European. You see all the different countries. Whereas in Africa, people
just put a whole Africa. And she's like, no.
But that's an example of a comment that works.
Yes, yeah, it's a teachable comment, and then it also kind of puts people in a space where you can respect that individual's culture for what it is and not for what you think it is.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thanks, Kristen, for that.
Yeah,
that's a good comment.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. See, I'm telling you, I'm always learning something.
Yeah. Definitely.
Okay, so tell me about the comments, guys. If you're just joining us, we talked this week about the comment section of an online post, how they can get derailed very quickly and go south. Or like I just had a live interaction and learned something about the Hispanic culture. I don't have any shame in not knowing.
Yes.
I'm here to grow and to learn. So
yes, and you can't go to when you learn Spanish in Spanish class. It doesn't really work in Mexico.
Heck no.
It doesn't really work. I know
the Spanish class, they didn't teach us about culture. Like it was just the language. You know what I mean? So like I feel like that's like a disservice. I wish I would have learned more.
Yeah.
About the culture.
I can see that.
Mm-hmm.
What's really weird is my video just asked me, do I want to tag my mother? And I think it's recognizing me as my mother.
Are you serious?
Not kidding. Hey, Mom.
Wow. Well, that's a compliment. Doesn't Jackie look beautiful to me?
No, I had to go somewhere today, which is why I got up and got dressed.
Real bad.
I had to get dressed today.
I apologize for my voice. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yeah, but you guys can keep comments coming about the comment section if you want to. Oh, well, it last minute. Yeah. If you want to, what is this thing? Oh, there we go.
Sometimes live gets
a little crazy. But let's talk. Oh, you have to tell them the resource for the.
Oh, what is it? What was it called?
It's called No White No Nonsense Roundup.
Yeah. So we were just on a conference call and we heard about this. It's basically kind of cool.
I'll read it.
It's a website that you can go on if you're a person of color, because we're not assuming that you guys have some trouble. And if you see racist comments or an ignorant white person, you can tag this website, White Nonsense Roundup.
No white nonsense. Hashtag no white nonsense. And so
white people will go in and educate the ignorant white person instead of asking Black people to do emotional labor. We should do a whole episode on that.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of white people assume that you guys should explain your culture to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they think that we should be able to ask all the questions. And
all the questions all the time.
I do this work and I'm exhausted. And I can't imagine.
You did say that the other day. You're like, I'm tired of trying to explain it. Yeah. So it's just here, what we've learned, and I will say this over kind of going into current events, just all of the things that have been going on in our particular state, is that in the comment section, there has been a lot of explain to me. Look at your face.
I know.
There's been a lot of explain to me why or what. Yes. So we are in Virginia. I will say the great state of Virginia. Yes.
Great resource. It is a great resource. We'll put it in the comments.
Yeah, I was like,
it's so interesting.
So no white
nonsense
roundup. Yeah. And you can tag them on things. That's pretty.
That's the point. So you tag them in a comment.
Yeah.
In a section where someone's being ignorant or doesn't know something, and then they will go.
This is what I'm really grateful for. Is something that I believe in. Is that I am glad that African American people are back into having larger scale movements for us, like that just kind of push the issues that we have and are really trying to make a difference government and policy-wise, which is bringing more well, European Americans on board, because again, a lot of the structures that are being held up are by European American, mostly men, but getting them into the conversation of being able to see that there are some things that are not right. And here's the beautiful thing is that even though these movements are for non-white people, I'm just saying specifically for Black folks, because that's what I am, and we can say with the immigration piece or whatever, but there are European American people that are taking the challenge of going back into their communities and trying to explain some of these things.
We're trying.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, I saw something the other day where the guy was like, hey, were there white people, were there European American people in the Black Panthers? And he was like, there were honorary members, but we encourage those who believed in what we believed in to go to their communities and do the work in there.
Right.
But we are still trying to get the same thing. We're still looking for the same thing. Yeah. So I'm grateful for people that do these sort of things.
Yeah, it's cool.
It is cool. But in the comment section in Virginia, if you haven't already partook in news somewhere, some place, we are definitely in. Now the government here, the state government. Go ahead. You can go ahead.
No, I mean, they're just dealing with, if you guys didn't see it, Ralph Northam was, he found out he was sitting, he had a picture next to a Klansman and then a person in blackface. And I think what's going on is a lot of white people don't know why blackface is bad.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say it's good or bad. It just is. And a commentator that I love, I can't think of his name, just pointed out it's because we don't live in proximity to each other.
We don't live in the same spaces.
We don't live in the same neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And we've been pointing that out. That's
why we do your neighborhood. Is that
we don't know the people that don't look like them.
Right. And that can create and continue divide.
We also need to create a space where people can. That's why I try to do it.
So this is one thing that I think I've been struggling with the current events is that there are people who are coming out and saying, you know what, I'm guilty, right?
Yeah.
I'm guilty. So it is one of those things that do we create a space and place for people to not just, I think you call it just laying it all out. Like, right. What is it called when the confessional? Turn into white confessional. So like, I'm not a believer of just creating this white confessional where every single year people just lay all of your racial, you know what I mean? Your racial things out there. Yeah. But I am kind of a believer of there being spaces where European American people that have done things or may have done things that may have been racist or may have been a play on their implicit bias, they have a space where they can say, you know what, this was jacked up. And then here's why, because I think it's not just saying, oh, I did this and that's it. I think there's okay, so I know why it was not.
And here's how I'm going to try and grow.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that I struggle with that because I'm definitely not saying that there should be, it's white confessional time. I'm definitely not saying that I'm not saying that people don't change, because I think when I have conversations with people that look like me and that says a racist is a racist forever, I say, well, and I actually had to tell a friend of mine this today, is like, well, I grew up in Chicagoland where I have an implicit bias towards groups of Black men. Like when I see groups and they look a certain way, I immediately think a certain thing.
Right.
That's because where I grew up. And that's because there was gang violence. And that's because there were guys who were selling drugs. Because those things were there.
Lived experience.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Coupled with getting out of those neighborhoods and still seeing that as being the prominent thing of the culture. So I have a bias towards Black men. I do. Granted, I am raising one, I am married to one, but I do know that when I see a group of teenagers walking up the street, I have to tell myself that is not a bad group of kids. It's not, even though in me somewhere, it still says, look at
Bias
these,
is there.
look at these kids walking. Why can't they just use the sidewalk? And I'm putting all these negative connotations on it. I have to go back and say, that's that me. That's what was fed to me in the media, that they are individuals and they are not doing what those kids back there did. And that I constantly, European Americans that have done racist or have implicit bias will always be working on that. That's like anybody else who has a bias.
Yes.
Forever you will be working on that.
Right.
Forever.
We all should.
Forever. Right?
Yeah. Yep. It's by nature of being human.
And I think it's
We're all
almost
born. I mean, you have bias. Everyone has bias.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you ever get over them.
No, I don't think you get on it. I think you're constantly working on those biases.
God.
But again, domestication, we cannot take away the fact that some people were domesticated very differently and indoctrinated into other cultures in a way that was not inclusive.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And you can hold people accountable for their biases.
You can hold them accountable.
You can hold them accountable, absolutely, but then also forgive them.
Yeah. And forgiveness is for yourself so that you'll be able to move on. But I think that in this particular situation that leadership is obviously an issue.
Yeah.
But how do we have a space where we're really able to talk about how those sorts of things influence our total life?
Yeah.
Kristen says, back to your comment about taking Spanish classes in school. Spanish classes, while they were helpful to learn different language, it honestly depends on the race of the teacher. When I was in middle school, I had a Colombian teacher and I only understood a few words that he said because I learned a different dialect and growing up and learned different dialect on top of what I speak. A lot of people aren't educated when it comes to knowing more about the different races. So it's okay that we live and learn. You two are great. By the way, I have to watch more often. Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
that.
so I had a white Spanish teacher.
So did I.
Also, I have friends that teach Spanish and they're white.
Uh-huh.
So it does make a big difference.
Yeah, and understanding that the dialects are very different, even down to the slang. It is no different. I mean, it is different, but it's no different in the Hispanic community than it is in the way people speak English differently. And
Yeah,
the slang is
absolutely.
differently
Based on
by
state.
by state, by region.
State.
Yes,
Exactly.
it's all different.
It's all different.
It's all different.
Languages.
And we just have to have a healthy respect for that.
Right.
And I think far too often, Kristen, we don't necessarily talk about that because when you're not living in spaces with people with Hispanic background to say, girl, we don't.
That's my point. That's why I never am embarrassed to admit I grew up.
We don't eat that. We don't say that.
Those stereotypes that you think are completely wrong.
Yeah.
I'm now as an adult, I'm being more intentional, and I would proud of myself. The people around me do not look like me. Don't believe it. I've been very intentional about that. But for a lot of white people, we just grew up around white people and continue to be around white people.
And that's a privilege.
It is a privilege.
You can always walk away from the conversation, which is why I'm grateful.
I said this all the time. Like you always have to. You always have to. Be aware of. Mm-hmm. I could walk away tomorrow and have the privilege and not have to think about it.
Yeah. And I think that we have to actually show love to, not even show love, but I'm just saying have a healthy level of respect for particularly European American people that decide to come in these spaces and learn. Granted,
thank you.
Granted, I know the mistrust is there and it is rooted in fact. It is there. But just as I have the expectation that they treat all non-white people as individuals and not say that a whole culture is one thing or a whole subset of people are best described by one person's actions or one person's theories or something that our government, who quite often over time has done, made up the narrative that they made up of people. I'm not going to do that to white people, to European American people, the way it has been done. I mean, that's a choice. Call it what you want, but don't think I don't look at stereotypes and be like, yeah, that is kind of a stereotype. Like they like casseroles.
We do. We did. If you guys, if you haven't yet, definitely need to go check out our episode on food.
Yes. So if you're on here and you are European American or white, do you eat casseroles? I just want to know. Do you eat casseroles?
Or we bring like potato salad.
Do you season your potato salad?
No.
Christina, why? This is a crime.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm from the Midwest. We think ketchup is a spice.
Ketchup is a condiment.
I know. I'm about to get in trouble from some Midwestern people. Be like, oh, you spice.
Ketchup is a condiment. Lastly, I think I always want to win on good news, but or not even this isn't bad news. So how do you feel? Is potato?
I don't know. Is potato salad a casserole?
No.
No, but I'm just seeing white people like potato salad, macaroni salad. Like you had us thinking about our barbecues, and I was like,
Listen,
we just always had potato salad, macaroni salad,
and chips. There are no sides. When I go to European American barbecues, there are not many sides. By sides, I mean macaroni and cheese, spaghetti. I mean baked beans,
those are
green beans.
Those are whole meals.
Those are sides.
Cheese isn't a side.
It is a side, Christina. It is a side. You eat like chicken with macaroni and cheese, or fish, or something.
Yeah, you're making
with macaroni. Yeah. Oh, girl. You know I do. I do. I love a good.
Had authentic Mexican.
Oh, there's a new place in my neighborhood, which I'm excited about. I went there to have food. It's Mexican food.
But it was good.
But it was good because I grew up in a predominantly Hispanic and Black neighborhood. And yes, there was a variety of Hispanic people for Kristen. Yes, predominantly Mexico, but we had Little Puerto Rico, we had Little Mexico, we had, unfortunately, we called it Jewtown, but we had all different sections. Yeah, at this point, when I was a kid, it wasn't, but see, you learn and you do better. However, there I love chorizo.
What's that?
Con huevos y queso. It's a meat. It's chorizo. It's a meat with eggs and cheese in it. And then you put it on a tortilla. And yeah, I said tortilla because that's funny to me. A tortilla, and you eat it, and it's good. And I love the way they eat. I love the way my I love the way they have family dinners and stuff. And then my husband works with a guy that his mother ships him food from Puerto Rico.
Oh, wow.
And I'm always excited when he brings home some stuff from his mother. I was like, what a good mama sending good food home.
Seriously.
Good food home. I'm grateful. But yeah, I don't want to keep you. I know. We got to put Christina.
I think I'm fading quickly, guys.
Christina's got to be.
I haven't brought my A game to this live.
No. We'll be back next week.
Every Thursday.
Our episode coming out on next Tuesday is about medical racism.
Which was new to me. That's gonna be an interesting one.
Yeah, so good. Yes. So I think that's gonna be a really good one.
It is. You know what I'm gonna start doing? If you haven't listened to this week's episode, I'm gonna put the links in the comments.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Because people come in. Anyway, you can go listen. I'll put the links in the comments.
Yes, don't forget the resource, No White Nonsense.
Yeah, I'll put that in the comments.
That was pretty cool that we learned about right before we hopped on here. Any other resources? Really cool thing we have coming up. We've got our Just Dinner.
Yes, that is exciting. Just Dinner. You tell them so I don't have to talk.
Okay, so Just Dinner, we're having our first Just Dinner on February 20th, and we've got folks from all kinds of backgrounds coming in, and cultures and religious beliefs coming in to have dinner. And we're just going to have some conversations that would be considered uncomfortable. But I think when you come to the room to have them, they become a little bit more comfortable learning experiences.
I agree. It's over food. So if you live in Hampton Roads and want to do one with us, stay tuned. We just had some great conversations of how we can make it a little bit bigger.
How we can expand it.
Yeah, because we've had such a great response and people want to come. And so we're doing it in your neighborhood, quite literally.
Right in my neighborhood.
So, but we would like to make it bigger. So if you're also watching and you're interested and you have a space.
Yes, we'll come right to your home. If you want to do a Just Dinner with and this is the thing, I think Rob and D'Angelo on the last thing just said, when you have cross-cultural relationships and you have not talked about culture or race, you gotta question whether those are authentic
And
relationships.
I went through that. I definitely went through that. I don't know if it's that they're not authentic. It's just, I don't know. That's something I need to
Think about,
think about
digest,
that. Yeah,
digest. And so if you have a group of friends that are, you're a fun bunch of different cultures and you want to have a guided conversation,
Have us over.
we're girls.
We're really fun.
We'll come over for dinner.
Come.
Even if you don't live in Hampton Roads, say you're an organization, you want to bring us to town.
Okay.
Just for dinner.
Put it in the comments.
Yeah.
If
All
you
right.
want to come to the next one, let us know. And just stay tuned. We'll be
Yeah.
posting it.
yourneighborshood@gmail.com. You can always
Oh, yeah.
message us, DM, all that good stuff. If you're listening and you like what you heard and you want to hear something particular, hit us
Message
up.
us. Yeah.
Message
if you have
us.
questions.
If you liked it and you really, really liked it, go ahead, go listen to it wherever you listen to your podcast, anywhere. Like, subscribe, review, because we love you.
Yeah. We need your love.
And we need
your support.
We need your love too. All right, so this is Jackie.
And I'm Christina. Stay open, stay curious.
And make it a great day.
Oh.
Ooh. Yeah.
Thank you for having it. I'm fading fast.
No, War. Huh. Yeah. What is it good?